Please come in. We have more chairs. We'll wait for a minute for you to get settled. Thank you for joining us. I think it was about, well, it was at the Gold Kings protest. After that, a few of us had been really trying to think of ways that we can reach out to North Lake and find out how we can help. So we found out that they were having a protest, and a group of us, I think it was Greg Davies and Joe Kramer, myself, Luann, Ashley, and Mary Lou Van Antwerp. We made a trip up there, and we made a couple of trips, and Susan Griffith, and we really kind of formed also a immigrant support group here. And we've had the connection now with Bonnie and Cliff, and it was so nice that they are able to come from Baldwin, Luther, and they would like to present to us tonight, and we would love to have them present what is happening in GEO in North Lake and how they are reaching out and helping the detainees, and then also maybe how we also can continue the efforts that they are doing. And so tonight we have Bonnie and Cliff Ramos and Virginia Ramos. And Bonnie and Cliff really started protesting there. They got into kind of the grassroots movement of like, okay, we can show up to protest, but we have to do more. And they have definitely been doing more. And I'm not sure exactly how Virginia started coming, but she is a social worker. She actually worked there as a counselor when it was a prison. So she really knew the facility very well, but she's been able to really help a lot with the detainees and helping them and making connections with their families. So I'm going to let them take over, and they will present to you. And then I'd like you to just hold your questions till the end, and then they will answer any questions you still have.
Okay. My name is Susan.
Excuse me, I forgot. I did. So Susan is going to take over a position that is usually presented by Maria Turner. She had to work, she could not make it there, but she's going to give you a little bit of history of it.
Okay, so that's it. This is a slide presentation put together by Maria Turner, and I will just walk you through it. This slide presentation focuses on the North Lake facility and GEO. Other questions about how to help the detainees and about the detainee population will be worked into Virginia and Bonnie and Cliff's presentations. So, you can't hear me? Okay, is this better?
Yeah.
All right. How's this? I use my low voice. All right, so GEO is the company, the corporation that owns North Lake Processing Center. This is the largest take-your-pick prison, detention center, processing center, concentration camp. All are true, but what is also true is that this is the largest facility in the Midwest. Facts and demographics. The North Lake facility is located in Baldwin, Michigan, which has a resident population of about 1,200 people. It's primarily a white population, and 38.8% live at or beneath the poverty rate. Lake County, where Baldwin is located, has a population of around 13,000, and 20.35% live at or below the poverty rate. So it's a poor rural area. So these are some information about Baldwin, which I said does have 1,200 residents. If you go down to the bottom of the slide where it says reminder, the GEO North Lake Processing Center currently has approximately 1,500 detainees, but it may house up to 1,800. So that means that the detention center has more people than were in Walker. And more information. I'll give you a brief summary of the history. Let's see, in 1999, the prison was open as the State Youth Correctional Facility. That means it was owned by the state of Michigan. In 2017, it became a private prison owned by GEO. In 2019, it was designated to house non-citizens convicted of a federal crime. In 2020, it was closed by federal directive from the Biden administration, which severed all ties with for-profit prisons doing federal work. And then in 2025, backed by a representative of the 92nd District, our representative, John Molinar, it reopened as an ICE facility. Now, you'll see, I have to say a couple things. The picture on the slide, I'm not quite sure what it is because the QR code was no longer working. And since I didn't put it together, I didn't really know what it was. But this reiterates that that GEO maintains facilities that house 26,000 detainees across the United States. And a question that's often asked, and you'll note that it's on your question sheet, is how much does the GEO group make per prisoner per day? And here we asked Virginia directly, and she sent a very long email. I'll give you part of it. GEO per day per prisoner, she says, she's gone down the rabbit hole to find that out. She feels that sources are not reliable on that figure. The per bed per day figure seems to be a trade secret that's not published. And it also hindered by GEO will not comment on the number of detainees. So it's really hard to figure it out like that. She did note that one facility is generating in a year $58,332,000. And I quote, this is from Maria, there is conflicting information on this, but their profits increased over 700% from 2024 to 2025. So I know it's too much of a profit for human suffering. So this slide focuses on the question that people ask and that Molinar drew upon to sponsor this. And it lists the pros and the cons of locating a facility involvement. The pros is it helps with economic condition and it should create jobs. And also, that facility is the biggest property tax payer in Lake County. It also has, as near as I could tell, for the last 3 years contested what its property was valued at. So things kind of get tied up. And the cons are that it has a small local population. Actually, there is a lack of qualified applicants, so they had to report labor. And the tax thing is the tax thing that I talked to you, that I mentioned before, that it's very isolated and there are a lack of available services, which also can influence the medical care in the system. So that's the answer to the question, is it a good thing? So I'm not going to detail these, but I'll let you take a look that it has been documented that there is inadequate medical care, poor food quality, and the rest of the isolation and restrictive conditions. And some of the sources for this information include a publication from ACLU in April of 2026, the Michigan Advance in May of 2026. You will get a link to this presentation with the Indivisible newsletter. Anything that you see that's underlined will be a dynamic link. So you can do, as I was able to do, you can locate all the information and get kind of a fuller picture. And then you'll see new since 2025. I'm not really going to read them all, but what was interesting, I mean, the first one there, staff mockery and indifference to medical emergencies. So all of these things have been documented, just so you know that all those things really are going on. And then this is news and resources, and this too you will be able to access. I don't know if you know, but 2 Michigan House representatives, the one, Haley Stevens, but who's the one from Grand Rapids? I can't remember. Hillary Shelton, they made a visit, to the detention center, which, by the way, I think we should be forcing Molinar to do. At any rate, that top thing is their interview after they went. And then the rest are just information that you should have. So that leads into this, and we'll leave this up top. And this is what Cliff and Bonnie and Virginia are going to, in part, talk about. These are ways that we can help, that we can support detainees, but they're also going to tell us about their experiences there. And I've been told that probably Cliff will take the lead. Is that true, Cliff? Where do you start?
Oh, you're done?